Morgan, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're going to talk about how to avoid and reduce Upwork fees.
All right. So real quick, because we always forget this part, Morgan, introductions. Who are you?
I'm Morgan Overholt. I am a six-figure freelancer and Upworker. I've earned over $600,000 on the Upwork platform. And Elena, who are you?
I'm Elena O'Neill. I am the mixed part of this. I'm a little bit more behind the scenes than Morgan, but I'm also in the freelance world, and we're content creators and bloggers. And now we're dipping our toes in the YouTube world so we can share our experience.
Wow, we're getting so seamless on these introductions. So easy, not awkward at all. All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about
Wait, are you calling me awkward? That's rude.
I think I'm kind of calling myself out. When they will do this naturally. But today,
Right.
guys, we're going to talk about how to avoid and reduce Upwork fees, which of course is one of the things that people ask me about the most, especially since I've been on the Upwork platform for so dang long. I've been on the Upwork platform for about 5 full years now. And like I said before, I've earned over $600,000 on the platform. And this is a really hot topic because it's everybody's number one complaint, it seems, about all those crazy Upwork fees and how you can't make any money on the platform because of them, right? So today we're going to talk a little bit about how to reduce them, how I've personally reduced them over time, how I've even eliminated them in some cases. And hopefully you guys can kind of use these tips and apply them in your own Upworking journey. So let's begin. All right. So there are actually 2 ways to reduce Upwork fees, and there are 2 ways to avoid Upwork fees altogether. So first, we're going to talk about how to reduce Upwork fees. All right. Option number 1 on reducing Upwork fees is going to be focusing on long-term, large, ongoing contracts. This is one of the things that I use all the time. In fact, we'll throw an infographic up on the screen to kind of show you exactly how this works. You can see a look at my billables on Upwork versus the Upwork fees that I paid from 2017 to 2020, my first 4 years on the platform. And you'll kind of see that overall, because I have been focusing on long-term contracts, my fees are actually dropping on average every year. Now, why is that happening, right? Why are my fees going from 20 to 15 to 10% to 7%, et cetera? Well, that's because the longer I stay on a certain contract, my fees are actually dropping. As you all know, your first contract on Upwork with a brand new client is going to encounter a 20% fee. After the first $500 is spent with that particular client, the fee automatically drops to 10%. After the first $10,000 is spent on that client, your fee drops down to a mere 5%. And so obviously the more you focus on these longer term, large contracts, naturally your fees are kind of going to reduce over time, which is why today, even though I didn't have 2022 up on the infographic, I think my average overall fee is something like 6% or 5%. It's really, really low because I rarely even take on new clients on the platform.
So negligible that you don't even really know what that percent is. It's so funny. You said, it's automatic, and it is so automatic. Like the first time that I had a fee reduction, I didn't even really notice it until the payment came through. And I was like, wow, that seems higher than normal. Oh yeah, it's because the fee reduced. So it does happen completely automatically.
Yep. The second way to reduce your overall Upwork fees are actually by applying for enterprise client jobs. And the enterprise client jobs, and again, we'll throw a little info, well, not infographic, we'll throw a screenshot up on the screen so you guys can see how those are indicated. But usually there's a special little icon that will appear beside the job post, and that's how you'll know that they're enterprise clients. You can also be invited to those kinds of jobs. Now, there is kind of a double-edged sword in this category. There's some good news and bad news. So we'll talk about the bad news here in a sec. The good news is that enterprise jobs at the time of this recording do not have a 20% fee. They have a 10% fee, which is really cool because that's right out of the gate. You're already going to be saving and reducing your fees. But here's the bad news. So the bad news is also at the time of this writing, that 10% rate does not change, which I thought was kind of weird, to be honest. I feel like enterprise client rate should change at the $10,000 mark, just like any other contract, but for some reason they don't. Don't know why.
Mhm.
That's a weird one, guys. So anyway, but it's a decent way to reduce your overall fees. Now we're going to talk about how to avoid Upwork fees altogether. Now, this is the hot topic everybody wants to know, right? We've got 2
Burning,
ways.
burning question.
Burning question, two different ways to avoid the Upwork fee altogether. Now, don't get too excited because you're going to be like, oh, well, that's the only ways to do it. Yeah, because Upwork's got to make money, right? So they're not going to give you a ton of loopholes in this particular category. If they're not making money, Upwork
Mhm.
doesn't exist, then you're not making money. And that's how it works. Okay. Money makes the world go round.
So true.
So
So true.
it's so true. All right. So here are the two ways to avoid Upwork fees altogether. Number one is by using the bring your own client to Upwork program. Again, there's details about this in the link below. By the way, we've actually linked to the entire blog post on this because I've written about it in length. And so you can find that blog post in the description below. But there is something called a bring your own client to Upwork program. And this basically allows you to bring offsite clients to Upwork. And if you're wondering, why in the heck would I do that? Well, I actually do that all the time with brand new clients because I might not trust them yet. I kind of like how Upwork can play that intermediary person who's like, okay, you can put your money in escrow and I'll hold onto the money, then I'll release it, when it's done, or you can use the Upwork time tracker, etc. I really kind of like doing things that way because I just feel like it protects me a little bit more. And I don't have to like set a brand new client up on any of my offsite, accounting programs. Upwork just kind of handles it all. I don't have to worry about like individual 1099s. It's super, super easy. So there's a lot of reasons to bring your own client to Upwork. And the really cool thing is on those clients, you pay 0%. So there you go. You can actually utilize all the benefits of Upwork and never even pay them a dime. It's pretty cool.
It's actually a
So
really good deal. What do you think about it?
yeah, it
I
actually
mean, I
really kind of,
think.
yeah, it really kind of is. You could basically use Upwork and never pay him a dang penny. All right. So the second way, and this is the biggest hot topic, we're probably going to spend a little more time on this than anything else, is taking your clients off the platform. All right. But again, don't get excited because there's only one legal way to do this. Okay. Most people, they bite the hand that feeds and they try to take their clients off the platform immediately. That's a
And then what happens
gigantic.
to those people?
Well, Elena, those people, they usually get suspended or their accounts get closed. And then they go, oh,
Yeah,
why did my account get suspended? Why did my
because you
account?
didn't play by the rules.
Right? Exactly. But yeah, people do it all the time. But Elena, do you know the legal way to take clients off of the platform?
Well, Morgan, if you find the client on the platform, you have to wait 2 years before you take
Two
them off the platform.
2 full years. That's what you've got to do. If you don't wait 2 years, you've got to pay something called a conversion fee. And the conversion fee is sky high, y'all. So I would say most people don't even bother paying it. Again, if you want to read more about that, click on the link in the description. But to me, it's just not worth it in any imaginable case whatsoever. So I would just recommend waiting that full 2 years. And if you're really, really antsy about taking the client off of the platform, at that point in time, you can do so without having to pay a fee. Is perfectly acceptable. I will add this as a general disclaimer about taking your clients off of the platform after 2 years. And the handful of times that I have done it, I've actually even brought some of my clients back to the platform because they're so used to working on Upwork and getting automatically billed, and they just find it seamless that it's kind of hard for them to go back to the old fashioned way of doing things. So I've not always been thrilled when I take my clients off the platform. Plus, I've got to set them
Mhm.
up in my software management system or, chase down invoices because they're not used to, the
Yeah.
new
And
way. And yeah,
or
it's a
get a
pain in
new
the butt.
contract together and, make
Yes.
sure you implement like a payment system. It's just, I mean, I know that you like, I can name a few clients off the top of my head that you've brought back to the platform because it was just simpler for them.
Yep,
So it's
exactly.
so it's so funny. Like, so keep that in mind. If you're really excited to hit that 2 year mark, you might find yourself wishing that you didn't. So
Yep, exactly. And then before we go, one quick bonus tip. Another question that I always get from people is, do you build those fees into your rates and how do you compensate for them? And I'm going to tell you, like, Leda, this is a thing I get all the time because people say, oh, wow, you've made like $600,000 on the platform, but that probably means you've paid about like 50 grand in fees over the past 5 years. Isn't that so much money? And I'm like, no, because really it's about a 95% profit margin, right? Like, so what is 50 grand in the grand scheme of things if you're making $600,000? But yes, long story short, I do actually build my fees into my rate. In fact, I build all of my expenses into my rate. We actually did a similar video where I talked about how to price yourself as a freelancer. I'm also going to link that in the description below if you want to see it. And one of these days I'll figure out how Upward cards work, or I'm sorry, YouTube cards work.
For
and I'll be
cards,
like,
you just got Upwork on the
Upwork
brain.
on the brain. I'll put like a YouTube card up eventually that will link to that as well. So to let you guys go see it and figure out exactly how you can bake all of your fees and all of your expenses in and determine your rates fairly. But a true entrepreneur always puts all of their fees and all their expenses into their rate. That's how they determine their rates in the first place. And that's how they determine what they should be charging. So yes, of course you bake them in. But again, I also have a lot of offsite expenses. So a lot of the times the rates are basically the same for me, whether they're on Upwork or not on Upwork. So, mama's got bills to pay.
And just think about, like every little thing that you go into that in a work day, from your computer, mouse and keyboard to your laptop to your, fill in the blank, there's going to be fees, there's going to be taxes. That's the cost of doing business.
It's the cost of being alive, man. People always want money.
Cost of being alive. Yeah.
So true. Plan ahead and treat your business like an actual business. And I do count all of freelancers and also entrepreneurs as small business owners. So the more you treat your business like a true business, the better off you're going to be. A little life pro tip in there for you too.
Mm-hmm. So
all right, guys. So that kind of wraps everything up for today's episode of the Morgan Mix. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe because that definitely helps out our YouTube algorithm. We're brand new here and we need all the love and support we can possibly get. Also, make sure to follow me on social media. Links up at the top of the screen at Morgan O Media, or I guess handles at the top of the screen at Morgan O Media on Instagram and Twitter. I'm also on Facebook, so find me there. And we'll see you next time. It really is.
It's like going to the gym. Like sometimes you don't feel like going to the gym.
I know. Yeah.
And you go to the gym and you're like, okay, I can do this.
Good workout. I felt good. Okay. So true.